Welcome back. February is known for sweet treats and goodies. I mean, we did just pass Valentine's Day, right? Most of those things, though, unfortunately, while they taste good, they are full of sugar, which brings us to our topic today, health. Dr. Heather Norman-Burgdolf, an extension specialist for nutrition and health, joins us now. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
All right, so sugar, how much should we be consuming a day?
So there are estimates that the average American over a year consumes about 120 pounds. So to visualize that, think about like 30 of those 4-pound bags you could just buy at the grocery store.
Okay.
So we're talking about added sugar. So this is sugar that's been added when a food or a drink is being prepared or processed, not necessarily natural sugars that are in milks and fruits.
Okay.
But the American Heart Association recommends that we consume no more than about 5% of our daily calories from sugar. So for a woman, this is going to be about 100 calories or 6 teaspoons. And for a man, it's going to be about 150 calories or 9 teaspoons.
And that's per day?
Per day.
6 teaspoons of sugar per day.
Yes.
That sounds doable.
Yes, absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Okay. How is sugar, I guess, intake directly related to our health? Some of the impacts there.
That's a great question, and the science is starting to become very clear on this. So we know that choosing foods that are high in added sugar and beverages that are high in added sugar are directly linked to increased body weight.
Okay.
And when that's an issue, then we know we're at increased risk for diabetes and heart disease. And so then if you already have some of the factors that can lead to heart disease, like high blood pressure or high cholesterol, plus a diet that's high in sugar, it could really make the condition worse.
Okay, so speaking of kind of sweet things, I mean, coffee is a go-to for a lot of us in the morning, right?
Yes.
Sweeteners, that's something that we look at too. I mean, are there certain sugars that are, I guess, better than others?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I'm glad you said coffee, because when we say sugar-sweetened beverages, we usually think of soda, but think about sports drinks and juice-type drinks and coffee, how much we can just add to our black coffee. Oh,
probably half of my coffee is actually creamer.
Exactly. So. It's a little coffee with your creamer.
Yep, exactly.
But really, when we look at sweeteners and sugar, they all kind of have the same impact, whether it is your white refined sugar or raw sugar, a honey, molasses, syrup, all of those kind of fall in the realm of having the same impact on our blood sugar. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind, they all contribute calories.
All right, so now we got to get to this part. I mean, what are the ways that we can actually reduce the sugar intake?
Absolutely. So Extension loves practical tips and suggestions. So the first one is going to be to increase your knowledge when it comes to what the names of sweeteners are on the ingredients list.
And that's tough. There's a lot of them out there.
There are more than 60.
Wow.
So just a couple hints and clues to get you started. Anything that ends with ose, O-S-E, so maltose or dextrose.
Sucrose.
That's an example. Anything that is a fruit concentrate or a syrup is also going to be a hint. And also take a look at the ingredients list for foods you wouldn't necessarily consider to be sweet. So like a pasta sauce or a salad dressing. A lot of those are going to have a sweetener and you don't even realize that's in there. So it's surprising. Yes. Another tip is going to be to also look at the nutrition facts label for how many grams of sugar. So grams is really hard for us to visualize.
Yes.
So a little trick is essentially every 4 grams is a teaspoon.
Okay.
So the total grams of sugar divided by 4, that's going to give you an idea of how many teaspoons are in that food. Okay. Another really simple one essentially is to use fruit, whole fruit when possible, to sweeten things up. So instead of adding sugar to your cereal, maybe throw in some strawberries, right?
So they are sweet.
Throw that into your yogurt instead of buying sweetened yogurt. And then the last one, and we've all heard this, really is to try to cut back on those sugar-sweetened beverages, because essentially our beverages is where it's the primary source of added sugar in our diet. It blows everything else out of the water.
Really? Okay.
So really, if you can gradually bring those back, you're going to reduce the added sugar in your diet.
And it can be tough. I mean, you don't have to do it cold
Absolutely.
turkey,
And we know people do better when they do take their time, because you got to let your taste buds adjust, right?
Right. Yeah. You don't want to shock your system too much.
Exactly.
That can be tough.
Exactly.
All right, well, thank you so much for all those great tips.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for having me.